May 2016, one of the best months in Celtic's recent history for one standout reason: the appointment of Brendan Rodgers as Celtic manager. After 2 years with Ronny Deila, the Norwegian manager in charge of the club, it was time for change at Celtic, and after a very average, at best in some opinions of fans, it was time for Ronny Deila to go, and Celtic were in need of big changes, and that big change was certainly made with Brendan Rodgers being appointed as the new boss. Since he has came in as Celtic manager, we all know what it's been like. It's been a miraculous turn of events at the club, fantastic management and a fantastic time to be a Celtic fan, and many things have changed under the management of Brendan Rodgers, and it seems that Celtic are back at some of their best times, and it's a great time to be a Celtic fan, as I previously said. So, 5 things in particular that I think have changed under Brendan Rodgers for the best. Well, we're going to go over it. Here is 5 things that Brendan Rodgers has fixed since becoming Celtic manager. Number 5, attendances. Before Brendan Rodgers was given the Celtic job, the Celtic attendances were woeful at times. League game after league game, parts of the stadium lied empty. There was seats empty everywhere around the stadium, and especially in the upper tier of the Lisbon Lions stand. It was closed every single week, and not even just under Ronny Deila. This was a recurring event even when Neil Lennon was in charge. The attendances were shocking, and for a team like Celtic, it shouldn't have been seen. The average attendances from 2011 onwards seemed to be 45,000, 44,000, 43,000. It dropped and dropped and dropped. But when Brendan Rodgers was given the job as Celtic manager, we recorded record ticket sales. Season tickets were going so fast. People were coming in, buying tickets again. It was a massive time, a resurgence for Celtic fans to come back. It seems like the exciting times were back when he was given the job. And you've seen it in the last couple of years. The average attendance, 55,000, 58,000. This season, Celtic are the first team in Europe to get 500,000 stadium fans through the doors of the stadium. It's massive amounts of sales and tickets, season tickets, and it seems that Brendan Rodgers has been the catalyst for this, and it's an exciting time to be back in the stadium. The atmosphere is there. It's fantastic. Number 4 is the style of football Brendan Rodgers has brought to Celtic. This one for me isn't as obvious as maybe some of the other things on this list, but for me, under Ronny Deila, there was no distinct style to Celtic. For me, it just seemed like every week the aim was for Celtic to go out and score more goals. They were the best team in Scotland, they were going to win anyway. There was no real organisation or style to Celtic's play. But when Brendan Rodgers came in, after being a top class manager at a top team like Liverpool, he knew what he was doing, and he had a style in mind, and he knew what he was going to do at Celtic. He was going to change things. He was going to have players playing their roles, playing with the right instructions, and he was going to have a style that was going to make Celtic the best team in Scotland by more than just a mile. He came in and he's brought this style to Celtic that he's really made distinct now, and it's kept us unbeaten for 60 games now domestically. It has been marvellous. The style of football Brendan Rodgers has brought to Celtic. We're scoring goals, we're conceding little, and really it's a fresh, lovely change to Celtic. I mean, teams really fear playing Celtic. When Ronny Deila was in charge, teams had the confidence that they could take points off us, home or away. They could nick a draw, they could get a late winner. But now, under Brendan Rodgers' management, it is very, very rare that we slip up or we let our guard down, and teams are rightfully very scared to come to Celtic Park, as they know it's going to be so difficult to get any sort of points. At number 3, it has been the trust and development in youth players under Brendan Rodgers. Now, don't get me wrong, Neil Lennon, Ronny Deila, they did give young people a chance. They did that, and that's you can't argue that. Kieran Tierney, for example, was debuted under Ronny Deila, and arguably he is now the best player at the club. He is the fan favourite of Celtic. But Brendan Rodgers has came in, and with the history of working with younger players, is signing such a base of youth players. He's bringing in players aged 20, aged 19, aged 18, and he has given chances to players like Anthony Ralston, Calvin Miller. He has got an eye for the future. He does want the future of Celtic to be bright, and he's got plans for these guys. They're not guys who are going to get one shot and then never seen again like has happened in the past with youngsters at Celtic. These are guys who he genuinely has a plan for. So the development in youth has been very important at Celtic, and Brendan Rodgers has got a firm concentration on that. At number 2, it is making the poor and average players genuinely really good players that we really now depend on. When he came in charge of Celtic, there was a lot of players at the club who were deadwood, and it looked as though their chances were over, and we were thinking to ourselves, well, it looks as though Brendan Rodgers are going to get rid of these guys. Some of the names included Stuart Armstrong, Callum McGregor, Dedrick Boyata. 3 of these players now are 3 of the best players at the club. He gave a lot of guys second chances when a lot of fans wrote them off, including myself. I didn't think Dedrick Boyata would ever be back in the Celtic team. But players who looked useless at times under other management have really came into the team now and established themselves as big game players, as very important players, and now have one of the biggest roles in the club. Brendan Rodgers has made sure to get the best out of these guys. He's a great motivator. He has got the best out of these players when it seemed as though they were gone. And he has really changed some guys' careers, and it shows the true quality of Brendan Rodgers' leadership. And he's done a grand job at it. And finally, at number 1, it's Champions League football. The thing Celtic players, Celtic fans, everybody related to the club craves most. For 2 years under Ronnie Deila, we tried and failed to reach the Champions League, and to be honest, it was quite embarrassing. And in the Europa League, there was no interest. One group stage, I remember there was only one tier open around the full stadium, completely empty up in the upper tier. It was a poor Europa League the second season especially. We got to the last 32 in the first season, but the second season absolutely nothing. The Europa League was just not what Celtic wanted. We needed Champions League football, and the season Brendan Rodgers came in charge of Celtic, that first season he took us, when he was not expected with the quality of team he had, he took us to the Champions League group stage, and he's done it again in his second consecutive season. He has brought the Champions League football that Celtic need and want back, and I expect it to stay the same for the next few seasons. It's what we need the most, it's what brings Celtic a lot of the money, and it is massively important to the club. That does it for this video then, lads. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Also share the video if you like as well. I know it was a bit shorter than usual, but it was a video that I wanted to make, and it didn't take too much. You know what Brendan Rodgers has done for Celtic, and it has been one of the biggest changes and one of the best changes in Celtic's recent history. As I said, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.